back. My name's Funder, and there's a lot to get through in this one. So, Chapter 8 of the Living Story, quick recap. Scarlet, who you can see on screen, has revealed herself. She's the head of the Aether Blades and has taken the Watch Knights, which Queen Jenna presented to the people of Community's Reach, and she's twisted them into these mechanical horrors that you can see in front here. What we learnt was that she tried to attack Jenna at the speech for the closing ceremony of the Jubilee. Fortunately, Anise had anticipated this and put a mesmer illusion in place. Unfortunately, Farron didn't know anything about this, so being the good-natured guy that he is, he tried to help and ended up falling into the pit below. There's the mission to rescue him. What we also discovered was that there were portals opened up all over Tyria. This clockwork army has been unleashed, and there's a full-scale invasion of Tyria taking place at the moment, map by map, which is just damn cool. So what we have is these portals, as you can see above. Something in there. It's very difficult to see what's on the other side, but these three different types of enemies are pouring out, and we need to fight them back. It's a 45-minute time limit, so you got to work fast. She's got these twisted nightmares, which are sort of the main body of her army. She's also got the Molten Alliance making a surprise return appearance. We kind of assumed that they disbanded back after Flame and Frost. The veterans that we spoke to didn't seem happy. The spy reports, they weren't happy. It's kind of weird that they're back together. But we'll talk about that a little bit more later. I'll just work through the story at the moment, and then we'll get into some revision and possible ideas at the end of the video. Okay, the other part of it, of course, is the Aether Blades, who are obviously working for Scarlet. Trin mentioned that she was afraid of her and she would have a noggin back when we captured her. So the invasion's continuing. When Scarlet attacked the closing ceremony, she sealed up the Crown Pavilion after she took the dignitaries and the undignified Lord Farron hostage.
Okay, now that we're in, our first order of business is to find and free the hostages. Captain Thackeray is counting on us. Impress him, and Ritlock takes notice. Ready, Bram? Ready, Frostbite?
You know I'm ready. I can't speak for Frostbite. Then again, neither can he, because he can't talk.
He talks, you just have to know how to listen. Right, boy? See? Frostbite's ready.
Awesome. So we've got Bram, Rox, and Frostbite back together again. So, with the old team, we're going to go and rescue these prisoners. The dignitaries and Farron we find in the room up ahead. Now, for whatever reason, the Sylvari Scarlet has decided to pop him in a pot, and she's talking about having him for dinner. So the other dignitaries are here as well, we extinguish the pot.
Take the hostages.
Rescue Farron and the dignitaries. Bram and Rox decide to help see them back to freedom as we continue on and take Scarlet on. Now, she does seem quite insane through this entire instance. Over in the left-hand corner here, we've got Hobotron and the Minstrel, who we saw in the last chapter, were actually captured by the Aether Blades for entertainment. Through this whole instance, Scarlet actually takes them with her, while Hobotron's still making jokes. They're both making jokes through the whole thing. She's each time we defeat her, she still makes sure she takes her entertainment with her. As we work through each of the 6 zones, there's different mechanics that we have to use on Scarlet. So here it's cannibals to make her vulnerable. It's a pretty cool fight. The overall dungeon is actually really well done. There's a bit of variety in here, a bit of humour. Yeah, we get to learn a little bit about Scarlet, who, like I say, she does just seem to be reasonably insane. Yeah, she's good with the words. I mean, we've heard her described in the last chapter as a bit of a genius. She has studied with all sorts of groups, and so she knows the stuff. It's just a matter of what's she doing with all of that knowledge. For the final fight, she's got these barrels set up around the room, which sort of grab your attention right away. Yeah, she explains that we're spoiling a party. She's got the guy still here.
That minstrel was aiding the Sylvari supervillain.
Let's dance.
Okay, Tron, still trying to get out of it and get the minstrel in trouble. So yeah, when she jumps onto those bombs, she makes herself vulnerable again, and we can take her on.
Have I mentioned how much I love explosives?
Okay, and so with one last hit, the doors open, yeah, she says she's learned the error of her ways. No.
Just kidding. But you do have my full attention now. I don't think you'll enjoy it. I keep a list of people that need sharp reminders about how insignificant they really are. And you just jumped to the top of it. It was a well-earned victory, and you should be proud. You should be happy. No, I mean it. You should be happy. So be happy right now, because shortly, very shortly, your life is going to be nothing but tears. See you soon.
Okay, so very ominous. Somewhat undercut by Farron in the tight red pants, but he was being cooked. So
That's a win in my book.
Wait, that lunatic is still on the loose. That's not good. Not for Divinity's Reach, or the Queen, or anyone, really. Speaking of royalty, did the Queen notice how brave I was right before I got captured? I'm looking for an upside
never
here.
change,
You're
Farron.
alive and intact, my lord. That's more of an upside than most of her victims got. Savor the little things.
Still, she doesn't strike me as the kind to forgive and forget. More like the kind to begrudge and bedevil.
True, but that just means we stay prepared for anything.
How do you prepare for wild-eyed, tooth-gnashing lunacy? By definition, it's unpredictable.
A word, Countess? Ever since the planning phases of this event, I've been kept out of every important decision involving the Queen. I know that's nothing you do ever is.
I assure you, Captain, everything I've done has been for the good of Kryta and the throne. Scarlet was a threat I couldn't fully identify, so I prepared for the worst. And my preparations proved very effective. The only problem here is that you take things too personally when Jenna's involved.
I will never apologize for my dedication to the Queen. I will serve and protect her faithfully until she commands me not to. Keep that in mind the next time you feel like trying to keep us apart.
Beat it.
So, quite a bit of tension between those two. They both think they're trying to do the right thing, and they've got their own ideas, but yeah, a bit of tension there. Okay, Scarlet's promised to attack again very soon. That's not very surprising, considering we've got the anniversary next week. I'm expecting something big to happen there. The sky is now open again, and the pavilion's been reopened. So yeah, we've got a bit to think about, and we'll discuss that next. Okay, so back in Chapter 5 I threw out a theory that it hasn't been disproven yet, so we'll stick with it for the now. Okay, so Mai talked about the Clockwork Crew, being the Aether Blades, and then at the end of the Aether Blade retreat dungeon, she mentioned Scarlet, who's obviously the boss, and we're all in agreement on that. Either way I'm dead, let's wind up our springs and ride this escarpment to the end. An escarpment being the thing that sort of powers the timekeeping element. So yeah, I mean, like, she's definitely referring to themselves as, these wind-up people. I mean, who does that? Who says, let's wind up our springs and ride this escarpment to the end? Unless you have got some of this technology that's keeping you alive and going. Anyway, still a theory. Now, in the latest update, if you meet Scarlet on the battlefield, she comes out with this line: "Have you met my Aether Blades? They work for me, because they like living." Now, that could just mean that she's suggesting to get on her side because she's going to be the winner. Could mean that she is basically just threatening people to say, if you don't do as I say, I'll kill you. But the theory I had was that the Molten Alliance was put together to farm the Aetherblade army, and that all the bodies from the Flame and Frost were turned into Clockwork Soldiers, became the Aetherblades. So this could also mean then they work for me because they like living, as in she's brought them back to life, and if they want to stay that way, they have to do what she says, otherwise she just lets them run down and turns them off. Like I say, this is just all a theory, but if you want to take it a little bit further, then perhaps back when we fought the Molten Alliance and we closed down the testing facilities, we killed a hell of a lot of them as well. And yeah, talking to the prisoners after, it seemed like, they didn't get on. That's what our spies were telling us, that they'd been tricked. That's what the Dredge guy said. So it seemed like they were going to just sort of go their separate ways at that point. Seemingly have, but yet here they are back suddenly, 6 months later. What if she pulled the same trick on them? Get them to farm the first army, and then you got all these bodies laying around. Don't waste those. So she's done the same trick twice, and that's how she's got 2 armies now. Now, back at the closing ceremony, Vorp had some interesting things to say. He was well aware of Scarlet. She'd actually trained with the Asurans, and was considered to be an engineering prodigy, even if he's not that big a fan. He knows that she studied at the 3 colleges, which is just really out there for a Sylvari to do that. I mean, the Asuran players only get to study at 1, so... she was good. She topped all of these colleges. She studied with a variety of different races as well, and she claimed to have understood the eternal alchemy. Now he says that's rubbish because nobody ever sees the eternal alchemy. That's like claiming to see the shape of the universe and understand how it works. Okay, so the eternal alchemy is basically the Asuran ideology. They believe that the universe is made up of cogs, which all work together. Big cogs, little cogs. Even the gods are just big cogs in the way that the universe works together. So for Scarlet to claim that she understands the eternal alchemy, it means that she's basically peeked behind the curtain and seen the way reality hangs together. Which she's having trouble buying into. Now, interestingly, back in Chapter 5 again, I asked the question about the Aether Blades. I mean, Aether means universe, the stuff that fills up the universe. And I was like, I actually said, what do Clockwork Soldiers, as Mai was referring to her army, and Aether have together? And... yeah, I'm sort of kicking myself now because it seems blindingly obvious in hindsight that the Eternal Alchemy fits that bill perfectly. It's each Asuran. Like I say, everything's a cog. Each person, every god, is a cog in this system, and it makes up the universe. So these Aether Blades and the Eternal Alchemy fit quite nicely together. I had to get the translation off the wiki, but if you head to the Derman Priory, you'll find this book there, the Varsha Fells, which actually talks about the nature of the eternal alchemy. So what do? We just take Scarlet's word for that she can see the eternal alchemy and understands it. There is one compelling piece of evidence in that she took the Watch Knights and she twisted them into these new form. This isn't a mesmer illusion. She actually took the physical components that made up the Watch Knight, twisted it and made it into a new thing. you know, with
Exactly my thinking.
additional
Excellent.
features that weren't there
Why don't
before.
you head
So
up the exploratory
she sort
group?
of just twisted
You
reality
sending me
and,
in a hot
and
zone?
made it into this brand
I
new
mean,
thing. Now that's
yes,
all we
ma'am.
had until
Thank you for the
Arena had
opportunity.
messed my day up yesterday by releasing an amazing new short story on Scarlet's origins, which we'll go into next. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is just a summation of the story. I encourage you to read the full text on the ArenaNet website. It's a pretty good read, and yeah, it'll have some of the details that I'll skip over here. If you're unfamiliar with the Sylvari, there's some information in the background there about the Pale Tree and the Nightmare Court, how that all works. Yeah, there'll be others such as Wooden Potatoes who'll do a full reading of the story. But yeah, just settle in and I'll go through my version. When Sarah emerged from the dream, she was immediately aware of the complex interlocking systems that made up the world. Even in those first moments, she was determined to make her own path, and amused that her first contact would see the world in such a limited way as to let the Pale Tree guide them. Sarah studied voraciously. She wanted to build machines as complex as those designed by nature. After 8 years, she realised that she could not achieve this with the Sylvari. Moving out into the world, she stopped at Hullbreak to learn all she could about metals. In a move she would repeat many times, when she had what she needed, she would simply get up and leave. After that was an Iron Legion Gladium who taught her about marksmanship and explosives, but she found the subjects all too simple. She would need to go to Radissom to progress any further. The hardest part was convincing the Assurance to let her train, with their natural bias towards outsiders. Once she excelled at dynamics and then statics. But it was synergistics that would give her what she needed. It was here, studying with Headmaster Omad, that Sarah would learn the depths of the eternal alchemy and begin to suspect that she could access the basic fabric of reality itself. While Sarah's theories were looked on by the Arcane Council as academic heresy, she had what she needed and looked to the Inquest for the next step on a journey. Without the Arcane Council's rules, Sarah delved deeper into their theories. While working with the Inquest, she interfered with the SNAF prize competition by tweaking some of the devices to her own needs. She was caught by the Council and banned from Radissom. While Sarah experimented with what else the world might offer, her mentor Omad tracked her down as she studied potions with Hylics outside of Radissom. He had developed a machine to transcend the physical world and delve into the metaphysical vortex of reality. Insatiable for knowledge, Sarah ignored all danger and entered. With her consciousness freed, she could see all of Tyria below before she plunged into the void. A voice came out of the void. The Pale Tree warned her to stop, that she would end up unleashing the forces she was trying to understand. The tree said that if you are not what you were born to be, then you are dangerous. As the tree came into view, she could see a red vine and thorns cutting into the side. For Sarah, each warning was just what she wanted to hear, and she tingled in anticipation of what she could become. She had seen the Pale Tree and the systems that dictated the lives of the Sylvari and the Nightmare Court, and was disappointed. They were so limiting. The system had to change. People should be free to choose their own path, and she was going to make that happen. When she returned to the waking world, she was born anew, her faint golden glow replaced by vivid crimson. Her name now Scarlet Briar. The forces that push us this way or that can be redirected. They can be set against one another to the detriment of both, and now I know how. Scarlet's voice rose as she went on. I have a great deal of work ahead of me. I don't know what the world will be when I'm through, but I will very much enjoy finding out. Empires will fall, continents will burn, and when the conflagration is over, I'll be there to put my stamp on what this new world becomes. That's pretty cool. ArenaNet said that this update would set the tone for the living world for the next year, and yeah, Scarlet's got big plans, and boom, here we go. So, what might those plans be? When we spoke with Vorp, he sent us out to investigate our first portal. Now, weirdly, it doesn't look like the other ones that we see out on the invasion battlefield. What it looks like is the Steam Creatures ones, which we've been seeing for quite a long time. When we talk to our witness, she says that Frostgorge Sound and Fireheart Rise were mentioned by the pirates specifically. There's even an achievement for fighting off the invasion in those zones. So that's interesting. Why are they been mentioned twice? Okay, so the Flame and Frost, our spies told us that they were digging tunnels to the east, to the west, and to the south, specifically those directions. There was nothing that was going on to the north of where they were based from to start with. Maybe they've turned their attention there now. The steam creatures, as I say, that's the portal there, which matches the one that Vorp had us investigate. As you can see, there are steam creatures that are part of Scarlet's minions, and they come out of the same portal as everybody else. So yeah, they're now using a different portal as well. I was quite lucky today. I managed to get... There was a giant portal over the Harathi hinterlands, so I was able to get some footage of that. And yeah, if you look at it, you can actually see the pipes and things quite clearly, which form the outside of the portal. It's still quite difficult to see what's on the inside, but yeah, there's definitely beams and pipes that are supporting it. So yeah, that's quite cool. So the good news is that even though she seems to be almost omniscient, or certainly very powerful, we're still able to mess with her plans, and she can't anticipate everything that we do. So she seems to be about chaos, but it seems we can throw some back at her as well. Now, in this last bit, just take note that Anise says she's looking after the crown and Kryder. She doesn't mention that her plans are to look after the queen.
Scarlet was a threat I couldn't fully identify.
Alright, so, long video. The anniversary's on Wednesday. I think we'll probably get some more story out of it then. But yeah, things are looking good. Scarlet looks like, yeah, she's really going to turn the whole system over. And yeah, we'll see where that goes next. Catch you next time.
Earth is my weapon.